Hello, welcome to episode 18 of the Craft House Magic podcast. My name's Ellie and I'm coming to you from Norwich in Norfolk. And it's a ridiculously hot day today. I've had to have the window open, so hopefully people aren't noisy outside. I've just tried to start this podcast about 3 times with the window shut. It was impossible. I was just dripping. Anyway, so today we've got knitting, cross stitch and some Dorset Buttons, as well as the usual blast from the past and gadgets. I've also got some information on my shop update, but I'll do that at the end of the podcast with confessions as well. But there's only a few confessions, it's not too bad this time. So you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Craft House Magic, and also I've got a website, crafthousemagik.co.uk, where you can find links to my other social media sites such as Twitter. I don't use Twitter quite as much as the other social media sites. Instagram is the best place to find lots of updates. Okay. So I'm sorry it's been 3 weeks since my last podcast. I got a bit carried away because my parents visited and they just took up so much time, so I've had to delay it a week, but I'm hopefully be back on track now. So I'm saying so rather a lot already today. So we've got 2 knit-alongs that are going on at the moment. One's called the Little Pleasures Knit-Along Crochet Along, and I've got a discussion thread in the Ravelry group under Craft House Magic, and people have already posted lots and lots of finished objects. So the knit along will go on till the end of June, so you've still got a little bit of time to enter. Basically the rules are that you need to use 30 grams of yarn, and it can be sort of any sort of project, and it includes sections of blankets like the Cozy Memories blanket as well. But for more details, if you go to the Ravelry group, you'll see it written down in detail there. So that's one of the knit-alongs. The second knit-along is called the Crafty Knit-along, which basically involves us knitting some mittens, and it's the knitting pattern Mittens According to Badagag by Lena Gerard. So we're sticking to this one pattern, and it's between me and Emma from Eldenwood Craft. We've decided to do this knit along, and Emma's got the discussion thread on her Ravelry group, so Emma of Eldenwood Craft, and the finished objects thread is on my Ravelry group. So if you'd like to come and join, you've still got time, you've got till the end of June, so come and join as well. So if you knit these mittens, you can also enter them to the other knit along, because they'll be definitely over 30 grams, so you'll have 2 competitions to enter. So don't hesitate to come and join the Ravelry group and have a chatter, even though if you don't think you'll finish your items. So it's just a lot of fun. Okay, so I just wanted to say that I'm going to put a few more wedding photos at the end of the video. They're basically the professional ones that we've had from the proper professional photographer. Before, I've just had photos from friends and family, although they were pretty good, to be honest. I've just got a few more photos I wanted to show you that I'll pop at the end if you're interested. So, on to the good stuff. So I've got knitting and cross stitch, and we've got some Dorset Buttons today that I've been having a go at, as well as blast from the past and my usual gadget, some confessions, and a little bit of information on my shop update on my Etsy shop. So let us begin. I can't stop giggling today, it's ridiculous, it's even more than normal. So I've finished my lovely socks with holes in, according to Luli. So I'd had this lovely set of sock patterns that Luli had gifted me, and we've also got one that's one of the prizes for the Little Pleasures Cal. So you've got to enter because you could win this pattern set. So the pattern set includes these, some shorty socks with holes in as well, or socks with ventilation, some ribbed socks, and some just plain socks as well. So they're a good all-round sock set. So I did the socks with holes in, and I really enjoyed knitting these. It's a lovely sort of nice, simple, easy to memorise sort of holy pattern. And I think I mentioned before that the heel flap is written in a slightly different way than I've seen before, and it was really interesting to have a go of it that way. And she includes like a a spiral sort of decreased toe, which is really nice as well. So I definitely recommend these. And the yarn that I knitted it in was Nora George, and it's in the Fleur Delacour colourway, as I mentioned before. And that's, oh, I love this yarn. It's lovely and soft and squidgy. I haven't actually washed these socks properly. I've just dry blocked them on the sock blockers, but they look really lovely already actually. But I will get around to blocking them properly. I don't know how I forgot to block them. It's ridiculous. It's my parents visiting, you see. They visited this weekend. I'm drinking out of a Carling glass, which isn't very ladylike, but I need lots and lots of squash today. It's way, way too hot. So, we'll go on to the works in progress. I've got all squash all over my face. Oh dear, what am I like? So I didn't show you these last time because I hadn't worked on them. But this is the yarn that I got in as a lovely prize in from Kate from Hawthorne Cottage Crafts. And this was a sock blank. I'll show you what I've got left of the sock blank. There we go. So I've got quite a bit left there. And this yarn is from Fine Fish Yarns, and it's on their sparkle base. Oh, I've lost the little ticket. So that's Fine Fish Yarns. I showed you this before. And the colourway is called Naked Boys. I don't know whether this is a reference to a film that I just don't get. It just sounds a little bit rude to me. So this is the Sparkle Sock Blank, which is basically 75% merino, 20% nylon and 5% stellina, and it's 400 metres in 100 grams. And I definitely think this is a lovely, soft, squishy yarn. So I've actually got to the stage now where I've got two sort of socks finished, but I've got to put the heels in. So because it's a sock blank and it's been hand painted, they are different. And you can see that it's quite wiggly because I've knitted it straight from the sock blank. I didn't ball it up or anything. And there's a little bit of a difference in the colour. Oh, that's a little bit more true to life. I really like these sort of purpley pink speckles that are in it, which is good. So I've just done a very basic 2x2 rib, knitted for as long as I thought it would roughly be. I'll measure the foot later and make sure it'll fit. And then I just did a decrease on either side on every other row, just a standard wedge sort of toe. And then I'm just going to pop some True Afterthought heels on both of those. So those should be finished by next time, hopefully. But I actually started knitting them on the 9-inch tiny little circulars. And I decided that even though I'd kind of got used to knitting them with them now, I actually knit tighter still on those than with my normal sort of magic loop method. So I think I'm going to, I might knit most of my socks on the magic loop now, I think. I do like DPNs as well, but I think my most favourite technique is magic loop. And I've been knitting them on my favourite needles at the moment. These are my higher sharps 2.5mm set. So I did knit the first one on the 9-inch circulars actually, and I found it easier to do the rib on the magic loop method, and then I just thought, do you know what, I prefer these, I'm just going to knit them. But the one's slightly smaller than the other. There isn't a lot of difference, to be honest, so they should be okay with the tension wise. So I'm pleased I've got those finished. Well, bar the heel. So that's number one whip. Second whip is the Dying of the Light shawl that I've been working on. Oh, it's got a bit tangled. This is clever. How on earth have I got it all this tangled? I don't know. So, let me try and show you how much I've done. You can see that trying to show you with I need more than two hands. So this, where this progress keeper is more or less where you saw it the last time. And I've actually done loads of this one. Unfortunately, my cable needle isn't big enough for me to show you the whole thing properly. But it's got these lovely wedges of colour in, which I've actually used quite a subtle colour change there. So the yarn is fondant fibre, and it's Holly Berry and Velvet Grape. I can't remember which way round they were now. I showed them on my last video anyway. Oh, and I think that Deb of Fondant Fibre has recently dyed up some more of these two colourways. So I think yesterday she put them up. So there might be some left if you go and have a look right now. You can see that I've got my, like, this is a ridiculous number of stitch markers that I don't actually need on it. It was helping me determine which was the right side and which was the wrong side. And I just decided that I'd like to see all my little cake my cake charms that I got from Chapel View Crafts. I think it's Chapel View. Yeah, Chapel View Crafts. And it's Cheryl who runs that shop on Etsy. And she does these lovely little miniature cakes. You can really see how she just got that little bit of detail in there in my Battenberg cake. And I've got a little biscuit. I have showed you these before, but just give you a quick look. It's a little digestive, chocolate digestive. And these little jammy dodger type things. So cute. Anyway, those are all on there just to show me that I've got them on the right way. Oh, and I've got this one. This one is from the lovely Diane from Peggy May Yarns, and I bought this a little while ago. I don't think she's got them in anymore, but she does do other stitch markers. And I love the food related stitch markers. It's terrible. Gosh, I'm getting really hot here, I'm sweating, even though the window's wide open. So I've nearly got to the last colour change on my Diane of the Light shawl. So I forgot to tell you actually, because I keep mentioning this so many times because it's taken me a little while to knit. It's by Ruth McKayon from the Knitterarium, and it's called Diane of the Light. And I'm basically just before I've got to this last colour change here. So it doesn't look like I've got much left to do, but the rows are quite long, so it might take me a little while. But I hope to finish it by the next podcast and get it all blocked ready to show you. It is lovely to knit. There's sections where you've got like a relaxation section where you can just knit and I can chat at the same time, and then there's a little bit of complicated bit. So it's kind of a good balance between the two. Not too complicated that you can't talk in the middle of those easier sections anyway. So I'm really enjoying that. So pop that back into my bag. Oh, I'm throwing Dorset buttons everywhere. I'll show you those in a little bit. So, last work in progress but not least. So I have got other works in progress, it's just that these are the ones I've been working on since the last episode. So we were talking, it's really hot to put these on. So we were talking about the crafty knit along that I've been doing with Emma from Elderwood Craft, and we've been knitting these mittens. So these are mittens according to Badagak, and it's the patterns by Lena Gerard. And I said in the last podcast that Lena does her own podcast and it's called A Wee Bit Knitty. So I definitely recommend that podcast, it's lovely. She's just started doing episodes again, it's really lovely. I can't stop saying lovely. So I finished my first mitten. So they've got lovely, lovely blue and grey stripes in there. So most of this yarn, well, all of this yarn is Knit Picks, and it's the Stroll fingering or Stroll tweed. So the only Stroll tweed is this dark green here. I won't go through all the colourways because I talked about them in the last episode, but you can have a look at that. Or you can also have a look on my Ravelry page for these as well to see exactly what colours they are. I've already put an entry in for those. So half of the pair of mittens finished, and I'm about to start my second one. I haven't actually cast them on yet, so that should be fun. I shall be doing that this evening, I think. Hopefully it's not too hot to knit. Excuse me, I really need squash. Loads of squash today. Right, what have we got next? Oh, cross stitch. Woo! I'm so excited about this. It's ridiculous. I'll show you the pattern first. So I've got this sampler in my stash. I basically got it from a charity shop about 5 years ago, and it's absolutely gorgeous. My favourite bit is this tree here, which I can't wait to get to. But I've started in the middle as I was taught. And I don't know if you'd seen that I put a photograph on Instagram of the pattern with the lovely twist of all threads all in one. Well, there was two twists of, or skeins of threads that were put together, so I've sorted them all out like a good girl so I know which one's which. Onto there. I don't think you need to put them all, but I decided just to keep them all together on this piece of card. Some lovely colours, and I've made a good start on my cross stitch. This is going to be difficult to lift up because it's got this massive piece. There we go. So you can see how I've started in the centre there, and there's basically this sort of big stem of flowers right at the centre of the piece, and you can see I've got my my needle keeper that's also from Chapelview Crafts. It's a bit of an advertisement for Chapelview Crafts today. So I'm really pleased with how that's coming along. This material, I think it's called Aid because it is made for cross stitch, is a lovely sort of natural tone rather than just white, which I really like. I'm really looking forward to getting the colours in these different flowers, and I've got to put the centre in these as well, so hopefully get a bit more time to do that this weekend. So that's my cross stitch. Oh, what I was going to say is that I've been listening to lots of people talking about what are the rules of cross stitching. So originally for quite a few years I've just been using knots on the back of the work, and I thought I'd try and do things properly this time. Now this isn't probably the neatest, so this is the back of my work, but this is the neatest that I've ever done any work on the back. So what I've been doing is, instead of making a knot, pulling the thread through until there's a little bit left at the back, and then sort of sewing over it at the back as you go, just to make them disappear. So I'm really pleased that I've tried to do that. There was another method I heard on Jo's podcast, Opera Jo, and she said about taking a piece of thread, folding it in half so that you have a loop on the end, thread the two cut ends through the needle so that you've got the loop hanging as the bit you're going to stitch with, put it through the thread from the back to the front, put it through the material from the back to the front, and then go back through once you've made your stitch, and then go through that loop so it sort of ties it off so you can't undo it. I couldn't do that because they were already cut into lengths and they didn't seem long enough to do that with, so I stuck with the other method. But I'm pleased that I've sort of learned a little bit more about embroidery techniques. There's a couple of people who've been sending me some gorgeous pictures on Instagram of their sort of, what do you call them, samplers. Absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm having to drink a lot more than usual today. I must stop moaning about it. So that's my cross stitch. I really want to get lots done on that in the next sort of few weeks while the weather's lovely. I have actually done a little bit of bobbin lace, but it wasn't enough to really show much, so I won't show that till the next episode. So a couple of weeks ago I did a class that was called Dorset Buttons. Now I'd heard about them and I kind of knew what they were, but I hadn't ever tried to have a go at making them myself, so I thought this would be a lovely opportunity. So basically what you have is you start with a loop. This is one that's finished, but you just start with a ring that's either made of plastic or metal, and then you do blanket stitch around the edge, and then you do you make the spokes by wrapping the thread around, and then you do some weaving around the spoked area, and this is sort of a classic Dorset button sort of shape. I'm showing you both sides. There we go. I think this one is my favourite one of the ones I made. The first one I did was this one, but I did the weaving slightly differently. It kind of looks a bit funky, I suppose. But then I went on to that silvery one, and then I did this one here with some variegated thread, which is quite fun. I liked how that turned out. And you can use these as buttons or as pieces of sort of artwork. And I thought I'd try and be arty and just do some random sort of wraps and do the weaving in a slightly different way. So I want to use these buttons to make a sort of a piece of contemporary art, I suppose. I don't think it's that posh though, so we can't really call it contemporary art. And then I decided I'd try and do a tiny weeny tiny one. So there we go, that's my effort. The weaving section isn't right in the middle, which is quite difficult to achieve, but especially when it's tiny like this. But those were good fun. It's difficult to show you all at once, but I really enjoyed that. So according to one of the ladies at this course, she was saying that Dorset Buttons are called Dorset Buttons because there was a big industry in the early sort of, I think it was the early 19th century. I don't know, that might be incorrect. But apparently there was a big industry at some point in British history, and then it sort of phased out and they made different types of buttons out of metals and things. And then in the 1970s it came back. That's why, I think that's where I've heard it from, when they had this sort of revamp of everybody having a go at making them. But they were good fun, and I think that it's nice to be able to create a button that's actually to match something. So it's ideal to have another technique rather than just wrapping fabric over buttons, to make something to match your sort of knitwear. So that's really cool. And it's also lovely to try out a traditional technique that's sort of to keep it alive, you know. Good fun. So that's all of my sort of works in progress and different crafty goodness, but I've got a blast from the past. So this time I've got a sewn item, and with the magic of technology, Barbara will appear. Ta-da! It's not very exciting, it's just a vest top that I'd made a little while ago, but I thought this is really handy that you can whip up these sort of things yourself, just to wear under other pieces of clothing or to wear in bed. It's really quite handy to be able to just whip them up at home. So this is made of strips of lace. I've zigzag stitched over the top of some jersey fabric, and I basically just drafted the pattern myself just from sort of sketching around a vest top that I'd already got, so I cheated a bit really. And then I added this cute little sort of pink button to go with it, and it's just a plain sort of strapped back, and that's just I just thought that was a really nice little quick make. So that's my blast from the past for this week. And with the magic of technology, Barbara will disappear again. So now I'm moving on to gadget. So this week it's a very simple thing that I've got for my gadget this time. So these are my tweezers. They're basically bought from Boots or somewhere, a beautician sort of place. And I use these tweezers so much on my sewing machine, just to grab the thread and help me thread it sometimes, or to pick threads off work. Absolutely ideal. Everyone must have a pair of tweezers by their sewing machine. Not so much for knitting, but sewing is really good. Now on to confessions. So I have been very good. So last time I did tell you that I was going to show some of the fabrics that I bought on holiday. So there are quite a few. This is the first stack, and a lot of these are some sort of, well, this one's a children's print with elephants on, but a lot of these are sort of grey, spotty or yellow fabrics, just to sort of add to my collection of just useful fabrics that I can use for linings and things, and some interesting ones with bicycles on, pink spots. Tiny little pink spots you can barely see. Right, and I'd also bought some children's fabrics. I have not actually got any plans to make any children's quilts or something, but I'll have to now. I've got all this fabric. There was some some packs of fabric fat quarters, and they were really cute. So I'll just show you some of those. I love these peas. How cute are they? So there's some really cute little children's fabrics and some coordinating patterns as well. So they're great fun. And I've got those. And I thought that these sort of checked ones would also be very useful. Grey, purple and blue. and that's basically all the cotton fabric I bought from holiday, so I was very good, very well behaved. I could have bought way more. So I have actually bought a few things since the last episode. So the first thing I ordered was 2 skeins of lovely yarn, which is called Kingfisher, and this is from the lovely Kelly, who is Lakeside Yarn. I should show you the card. Lakeside Yarns on Etsy, and she's got some lovely other colourways as well, but I figured that these would make a lovely shawl, and it's 75% merino and 25% nylon and 425 metres in 100 grams. So this colour is absolutely gorgeous. I don't think it's actually coming out quite as gorgeous as it is in real life on the camera. It's blowing out slightly, but really lovely colours and a very nice squishy yarn as well, so I definitely recommend that. And the lovely Kelly has sent some prizes as well for the next sort of knit along that we're going to do. So I'm going to keep this for a knit along that I haven't yet talked about, but it does actually showcase some of the lovely yarns that Kelly does. If you look on the back, I haven't opened it so you can sort of have it all nice and fresh for the winner. So I think, I can't remember I think this might be cheesecake, because I saw one Kelly done, and this one is Kingfisher, the same as I've bought. I can't remember the other colourways, but if you look on her Etsy shop, I think she's got a lot of these for sale still. But I'm sure if she hasn't got any left, if you contact her, I'm sure she'd like to help you. So thank you so much, Kelly. I'll give you a wave as well. I hope you're waving back. That sounds slightly mad, but I always wave back when people say hello to me on the camera, and then I feel crazy as well, but it's all good. So I also, because I'd been really enjoying using my little cake progress keepers from Chapel View Crafts, I'll just show her card. So I placed another order. I saw these yellow ones and I just had to have them. So there was a oh, look at this. I can't think what the cake's called off the top of my head now. I'm losing my mind. I want to say frangipane, but it's not. It's an almondy flavoured cake. You know what I mean. There's some lemon meringue pie there. Lovely. And so another lovely little yellow cake. And then some more of these biscuits that look like Jammy Dodgers, but this time it's got lemon inside. Lovely. So I bought a set for me, but I also bought a set for you guys for a giveaway for the next time. So this is going to go with the little minis that Kelly had sent us, so for another giveaway. So watch this space. We're going to have some more little knit-alongs at the end, well, the beginning of July. I also bought another knit stitch marker. Look at this. I haven't opened it to show you the packaging because it's so cute. Isn't that lovely? Really cute. I will open it now so you can see it properly. It's packaged so well. So this is from Chapel View Crafts as well, and it is a millionaire's slice. Yummy. I can eat it right now. This is my utterly favourite cake. Well, it's not really a cake, it's a slice of shrimp. But absolutely gorgeous. That is going to make me feel really hungry. Gorgeous. So I think that's all my confessions. Much less than last time. Right, I promised you that I would talk about some of the gifts that I'd had from the wedding. I had some lovely things. I'm just going to show you a few of them. So I'll show you a couple of cards, or 3 cards, and then I've got 2 gifts that were handmade. So the first one I got gifted was from my lovely friends Lindsay and Sarah, and they hand crocheted this. Look at all those flowers. Absolutely gorgeous. That was so kind. and it's really appreciated. Anything sort of handmade that I've been gifted, it's absolutely wonderful. Think of all the time somebody's put into making that just for you, and how perfect are those flowers. I really want to see if I can try and frame that and have it on my wall. That's so cute. It'd go really nicely with my craft room blue. So my second one was from my lovely friend Orla, and Orla and Darren. Well, Orla made it, so I'll give her the credit. So, I've just noticed she's got a lovely little sticker that this is her name on Instagram. That's so cute. And she does lovely little, they're hand dyed with sort of natural materials, and then she's done some stitchery over there. Isn't that sweet? Absolutely gorgeous. Pretty little bird and some flowers, and then you've got to have a bit of bunting. So she's also appliqued these bits of bunting on there, which is really cute, and some machine stitchery there. And she's put our names in. How cute is that? Really lovely. I don't know if she watches, but thank you so much, Orla, if you are. So thirdly, I've got some Bobbin Lace, or a Bobbin Lace card. So my teacher at Bobbin Lace has made this a card for our wedding, and it's so gorgeous. Look at that, some doves. And I know the hours that are put into this sort of thing, so I'm very appreciative of it. Absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you can see a little bit better closer up. And again, I really fancy trying to see if I can take this carefully out the card and to frame it so that I can keep it in a frame nice and without the dust getting on it. That was really lovely. So my teacher's called Sandra, but she's not online or anything, so I know she won't watch this. But I'll send my thanks across the interweb anyway. So these couple of things were made by my friends. So this was made by my friend Leslie. I've got Lindsay in my brain because I can see another thing from my friend Lindsay. So this is from my lovely friend Leslie, and she'd done some lovely beadwork there with a knitting needle across the top. I think that's really sweet. And I know how difficult it is to try and fit all the letters in when you're doing this sort of beadwork, but that is really sweet. Sorry, I'm shaking it a bit. So that was really lovely. So thank you, Leslie. I keep saying Lindsay instead of Leslie. Now this one's from Lindsay. So my lovely friend Lindsay, who also made this crochet card that I showed you, also did a cross stitch for me. How wonderful is that? And that must have taken hours and hours and hours. I love the purple and pinks, and it's got the date of our wedding on as well, so I'll treasure that. And I'll keep it in my craft room because that's where I spend most of the time. So that's, if you are watching, Lindsay, thank you so much. That's beautiful, thank you. So that's the things that I'm going to show you that I got handmade for my wedding. I just wanted to mention that I'd had a shop update on the 12th of June, and lots of the things have gone, but there are a couple of things left, and I'll just give you a quick view of what I've got left. I've got 3 small sock size bags, one with bottles of wine on, one with little sheep with a blue background, and one with the grey sheep with little pink noses, I think. Yep, little pink noses. That's my favourite fabric. I've kept one of those for myself. And then I've got one in this sparkly heart fabric, which is difficult to see on the photographs, but it is very cute with a little sparkle in the fabric. And this is one of the sets that I do with a little notions pouch, DPN case, and it's quite a big bag. This takes about 4 skeins of yarn, and it comes with some stitch markers as well. Oh, it's got a little stitch marker on the thing. So that's what I've got in my shop at the moment. So there's not much left, but I will be having another shop update on the 4th of July, which is the Tuesday the 4th of July, and this will be at 7 o'clock as well, if you're interested in catching something in my shop. So I haven't got any Ask Me Anything for this week, but if you do have any questions, if you pop over to my Ravelry group, Craft House Magic Ravelry group that's called Ask Me Anything, if you pop in your questions there and I'll answer them on the podcast. Sometimes I write a little bit of a reply on the actual thread as well, but sometimes I just tend to tell you the answers on the podcast, which is much easier for me. So I just wanted to say a couple of things about the wedding. So we obviously got married, it's over a month ago now, it's crazy. So we had some new photographs from the photographer that we'd been waiting to receive, and I've going to show you a few of them at the end of the podcast. Now, some people mentioned that they'd seen the DeLorean in the last photos. So Adam is very much into Back to the Future. He's a big geek and he loves the idea of the DeLorean time machine. So his dad had organised for him to come to the wedding in a DeLorean that one of his friends had. So that was really lovely for him. But I thought, how come I didn't get a posh car? We got ready at the hotel. So I didn't really feel as if I had to have a posh car to get there. So it's normally the lady that has the posh car. It's not fair, is it? I did get some yarn for a gift, so it's okay that I showed you last episode. So I'll be popping some photos at the end. I'd like to say as well, thank you so much to everybody who put some lovely messages on the Ravelry group about the wedding. I didn't reply to them all, just because it was getting a bit so much to reply to everybody. I just showed that I'd read them by putting love on them. So thank you so much for the lovely messages. That was really lovely to read those. We've got a discussion group for each of the podcasts on my Ravelry group as well. So go over to there and chat about anything that I've mentioned on the podcast or anything else crafty related. I don't mind. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next episode. Bye!